explain about the Samsung main core business. Electronics and technology have changed the way we live and work, influencing both our daily life and global market. One company that has played a major role in this transformation is Samsung. Samsung's main business focuses more and specializes in appliances, TVs, cell phones, semiconductors, memory chips, and integrated systems are just a few of the consumer and business gadgets. Samsung started its business in electronics by producing black and white televisions and exporting home appliances to international markets. The smartphone boom in the 2000s, Samsung launched the Galaxy series, which became hugely popular. Later, the series expanded to include tablets, smartwatches like the Galaxy Tabs and Galaxy Gear. Lastly, besides its success in smartphones, Samsung also played a key role in the microprocessor industry. The company supplied microprocessor for the Apple's early iPhone models and became one of the world's largest microprocessor producer by the late of 20th and early 21st centuries.
For this slide, I'm going to talk about the goal of Samsung Corporation. Overall, Samsung's main goal in 2025 is to strengthen its market leadership. First, Samsung aims to lead the market and launches innovative products through AI. Samsung plans to strengthen its market position through deeper consumer research and introducing of more innovative products. Next goal is expanding and advancing Galaxy AI. At the same time, Samsung aims to lead the mobile market with the Galaxy S25 series supported by One UI 7.0 Samsung software update which offer more flexible interaction. Samsung is also strengthening its long-term competitiveness by investing in next-generation memory technologies and expanding system semiconductor capacity to support future demand. Lastly is future technology and eco-friendly innovation. Looking ahead, Samsung expects economic uncertainty due to exchange rate risk and protectionist policy.
I will explain the international business methods used by Samsung. Samsung is a global company, so it uses different strategies to operate and expand in many countries around the world. This method helps Samsung to stay competitive in the international market. So let's take a look at the method 1, which is international R&D and innovation. First of all, Samsung focuses on the international research and development, also known as R&D. Samsung has R&D centers in many countries such as the UK, India, China, the US, and also Singapore. These centers study customer needs and also market trends in different countries. This helps Samsung to create the new and better products that suit local customers. As a result, Samsung can stay ahead of competitors and continue to innovate. So let's take a look for method 2, which is foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment, known as FDI, Samsung builds factories and research centers in other countries. For example, Samsung produces many smartphones in Vietnam and India. This helps Samsung to reduce their costs, produce products faster, and also supply the local market more efficiently. For method 3, product localizations. So, Samsung use product localizations. This means that Samsung design their products based on the local needs and culture. For example, Samsung makes special TV for Africa, kimchi refrigerators in South Korea, and different washing machines in India. This strategy helps Samsung to attract local customers that increase sales in different countries. So here, to conclude, Samsung use international R&D, FDI, and also the product localizations to succeed in the global market. These strategies help Samsung to grow internationally and stay competitive worldwide.
First, let me explain why India is an attractive country for expansion. India has a very large market with more than 1.4 billion people, and the middle class is growing rapidly. This means more people can afford smartphone, electronic, and smart products, which create high demand for Samsung products. Next, India offers cost advantage. Labor costs are lower compared to many developed countries, and India has strong local technology talents. This helps Samsung reduce production costs while still maintaining quality. The Indian government also strongly supports manufacturing through the Make in India initiative. This program provides tax incentive and infrastructure support, making it more attractive for Samsung to invest and expand its operation in India. India has a strategic location. It acts as a hub for distributing goods across Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. Regulatory uncertainty. Regulation and tax policy in India change frequently. These changes can affect Samsung cost, profit, and investment decisions. The second type is supply chain uncertainty. Local suppliers in India are not yet fully developed, so some components still need to be imported. This can lead to delivery delay. Vietnam offers many opportunities in high-tech industry, research and development, and also digital transformation. Vietnam is also a strategic smartphone production hub. Samsung uses Vietnam to manufacture smartphones and meet global demand. By investing in Vietnam, Samsung is also strengthening its position as a top investor and fast-growing economy. This helps Samsung build long-term growth and stability in the region. Samsung faces several types of uncertainty in Vietnam. International trade and tariff uncertainty. Vietnam's trade relationship with major countries. Second type of uncertainty is global economic and market uncertainty. Vietnam is highly exposed to global economic changes, so any slowdown in global economy can directly affect the country.
I will explain the main countries where Samsung sells their products. Samsung sells their products all over the world. This helps Samsung to compete in the global market. The first one is South Korea, that is the domestic market. South Korea is Samsung's home country. It is Samsung's most important market. In South Korea, Samsung sells many products such as TV, fridge, washing machine, and also computers. New products are first made and tested here. Strong brand loyalty and skilled workers help Samsung to grow globally. The second one is United States. The United States is a very important market for Samsung. Samsung sells smartphones, electronic products, and chips in the US. The US market has a high buying power and strong demand for new technology. Competition in the US pushed Samsung to improve its products and technology. The next one is Japan. Japan is the one of the Samsung early exports markets. Samsung entered Japan by working with the Japanese electronic companies. Japan has a high technology standards. This helped Samsung to improve its product quality and production skills. Next is Europe. Europe is another important market for Samsung. Samsung sells TV, home appliances, and mobile phones in Europe. European customers expect high quality and good design. This encourages Samsung to improve its product and also their brand image. The last one is global markets, worldwide. Samsung also sells or exports its product to worldwide. The company operates in more than 150 countries. Samsung is one of the top smartphone brands in the world. By selling in many countries, Samsung reduces risk and stays competitive.
Next, I will explain about the Samsung export business and the recent changes in the factors. In today's global economy, export played a critical role in the company's growth and profitability. Samsung is a prime example for this, as a large-scale export operation that has become a major driver of a business success. In 2024, Samsung generated profit exceeding 2 trillion won from exports, significantly higher than the profit from the domestic operation itself. This shows that the export served as a Samsung's primary source of revenue. A more international market, export to the United States and China contributed the higher profits, exceeding market in the Asia, Africa, and Europe, which highlights Samsung's reliance on major global economy. The recent changes in tariff have introduced new challenges for the company that heavily depend on export. These adjustments have affected industrial sector in countries like Vietnam and Indonesia, and Samsung's export have been directly influenced by this global trade development. The new tariff have created uncertainties, especially with fluctuation in the semiconductor business. This development demonstrates how the global trade dynamics and the policy changes can significantly impact the Samsung export performance and strategic operations.
Now let's look at how Samsung used the foreign exchange market. First, Samsung convert foreign currency earning into Korean won, which is its functional currency. Major currencies such as the US dollar and the euro contribute a large portion of Samsung sales. Second, Samsung used the foreign exchange market to hedge against exchange rate risk. By using forward contract and currency swap, Samsung reduced uncertainty caused by currency fluctuation and protect its revenue and profitability. Next, Samsung relies on the foreign exchange market to make cross-border payment and settlement. This allows the company to make payment to suppliers, employees, and subsidiaries, and to receive payment from overseas customers smoothly. Finally, Samsung used the foreign exchange market to support international investment and intercompany financing, such as funding foreign subsidiary and profit repatriation.
Issuance of stocks in foreign countries of Samsung Electronics. Samsung Electronics is mainly listed on the Korean exchange, which acts as its home market. This is where most of the trading volume takes place and where the company's share price is basically determined through active participation by domestic and institutional investors. To expand its global investor base, Samsung also issues global depository receipts on the London Stock Exchange. This allows European investors to invest more easily during their own market hours and in foreign currencies, without Samsung having to issue additional shares in its home market. However, Samsung does not issue American depository receipts in the United States due to higher regulatory and compliance costs. Despite this, US investors can still gain exposure to Samsung through international markets such as the London Stock Exchange or the Korean Exchange.
In this slide, I'm going to talk about the main currency used by Samsung Corporation. Samsung Electronics operates as a multinational corporation, therefore it uses several currencies to conduct business activity. This currency can be divided into domestic and foreign currency based on the location of its operation. Firstly, the South Korean won is the primary and functional currency of Samsung Electronics. Since the company headquarters and key management are located in South Korea, Korean won is used for financial reporting and company valuation. Most of the company operating costs such as employee salaries, utilities, administrative expenses, and research and development activities are paid in Korean won. Secondly, the US dollar. USD is the most important foreign currency for Samsung. A large portion of Samsung export revenue, especially from smartphones, semiconductor, display panels, and consumer electronics, are denominated in USD. In addition, USD is widely used in global semiconductor trade and international transaction settlement, making it a key currency for Samsung overseas business activities. Next, the euro. Euro is used extensively in Samsung European operation. Samsung has many sales and manufacturing subsidiaries across Europe, and most revenue and operating expenses in this subsidiary are valued in euros. As euro is one of Samsung's major international market, fluctuation in the euro exchange rate can significantly affect the company financial performance. Japanese yen is used for procurement and operational activity in Japan. Samsung make payment in Japanese yen to Japanese supplier for high technology material and semiconductor equipment.
How changes in major foreign currencies affected Samsung Electronics in 2025. On US dollar exchange rate overview, this shows that the dollar stayed at a high level throughout the period. This trend also reflects global financial condition where the US dollar strengthened against many major currencies. The US dollar is the most dominant currency in Samsung's global operations. Even small change in the USD exchange rate can have a large impact on when the US dollar remains strong against the Korean won. Revenue earned in USD become more valuable when converted into Korean won. However, the strong US dollar also increased Samsung costs. Many components, raw materials, and manufacturing equipment are purchased in USD. When the dollar strengthens, these costs become higher in Korean won term. A stronger USD also increased cash outflow. Dividend payments to foreign shareholders and other overseas payments made in USD become more expensive. In 2025, the euro strengthened significantly against the Korean won. At the beginning of the year, the exchange rate was around 1,462.65 Korean won per euro. The euro gradually increased throughout the year and reached a peak of approximately 1,745.42 Korean won in December 2025. The average exchange rate for the year was around 1,606.35 Korean won per euro, showing that the euro appreciated by about 11% compared to the beginning of the year. This indicates the euro became stronger while the Korean won depreciated. Samsung has extensive operation in Europe and CIS region. The company has sales subsidiaries in countries such as the United Kingdom, Germany, France, and Italy. Because of this large presence, revenue, operating expenses, asset and liability in Europe are mostly denominated in euros. When the euro strengthens, sales revenue earned in Europe become higher when converted to Korean won. This increase in Samsung's report revenue and profit since the Europe is one of the Samsung's major export market for consumer electronics and semiconductors. Exchange rate movement in euro have strong impact on overall performance. 2025, the exchange rate between the Japanese yen and the Korean won remained within relatively narrow range. The average exchange rate was approximately. This shows that the yen was relatively stable but experiences small fluctuation throughout the year.
Payment methods used by Samsung Pay for imports. Samsung applies different payment methods depending on the level of risk, transaction value, and the strength of its relationship with suppliers. This flexible approach helps the company manage financial risk while ensuring smooth supply chain operations. For high-value and critical imports such as advanced equipment or key components, letters of credit are commonly used to provide bank-backed payment security to exporters. Open account arrangements are preferred for trusted long-term suppliers, allowing Samsung to make payment after receiving the goods, which helps improve cash flow efficiency. Documentary collection is used for moderate risk transactions, where payment is made after shipping documents are received, while advance payment is applied for specialized or urgent materials to prevent production delays.
Now, let's move on to the type of trade finance method used by Samsung. First, there is open account trading. Here, goods are delivered and payment is received later at an agreed date. This method helps reduce transaction costs and improve cash flow efficiency. It is particularly suitable for Samsung because of its strong credit rating and long-term relationship with supplier and client. Next, Samsung uses bank-supported financing such as short-term borrowing and working capital facility. This enables the company to pay supplier on time, import funding, manage stock level, and keep production running smoothly. Another important practice is foreign exchange risk. management. Samsung use forward contract on sale and purchases to stabilize trade payments and receipt, which helps in planning costs and revenue despite currency fluctuation. Finally, even though it is not mentioned in detail in the report, Samsung likely used letter of credit and bank guarantee in situations involving new partner or higher risk country. This provides extra security and reduce uncertainty in international trade transactions.